Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the comic collector geek, and yeah, it's my birthday. I'm really old today, officially really old. Yesterday I was really young, but now I'm officially really old. So I'm actually 51. Can you believe that? I only look 71, but
No,
I'm
no.
actually.
You look young. You look young. You look good. Happy birthday, Alan.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Actually, a lot of people said happy birthday even before the stream started. Jerry said happy birthday. Thank you, Jerry. And Callie, thank you, Callie. And Kim Yunin, thank you. And TM, thank you, TM. We're actually hanging out tomorrow, TM. You got to remember that. So we're going to see each other tomorrow. And oh, Papa Wheelie's joining us as well.
Hey, Papa.
Hey, Papa. So Papa's going to hang out while we we just do this thing.
Go through
So
the machinations.
yeah, I have one. This actually arrived today. This book, and this is actually I got this because of you. Stephen. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
this is one that you inspired me to get. It's from
Okay.
so yeah, I actually got a pretty good deal on it. Like I was surprised how expensive it was. Like I wish you would kind of recommend cheaper options in life in
I'll
terms
do
of
my
books.
best. I'll do my best.
But this was, they're yeah. So I got a pretty good deal on it though, so I was quite happy.
Okay.
Um so yeah.
I got a book today,
Okay,
too.
Ryan? Okay. Oh, you got one in the mail today?
Well, just one little one, but I had gotten several others prior to that. But nevertheless, I mean, they always seem to be coming, but blah,
Okay,
blah, blah.
cool. Blah blah blah. So I'm actually gonna open mine first because it's
Okay.
my birthday. I get to go first. I don't know why.
You get to do it's your
Because
day, man. You
yeah,
call the
it's my day.
shots.
So I'll call the shots. Yeah. So I'm gonna open this guy's up and I'm gonna make myself big, and then I'll show you guys what's inside. And this was inspired. And actually, I didn't even know the meaning of this. I just knew that it meant something weird. Okay. So Stephen might know what from that description what it might be, but can you
I'll
guess what
never
it
tell.
is? Can you guess what it is
I'm not
based on
gonna.
that?
I'm not gonna wreck your surprise. Come on,
No, but
man.
can you guess? Do you know what it
Oh,
is
I know
based on that?
instantly what you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. So this
Believe,
one
believe
is
me?
well, maybe.
No,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. So I'm kind of it's well taped, so just bear with me as I do my little unboxing thing here. Okay, so it's out of the box. This was the box, and it's like from Cap Can Comics. So it's a Canadian one. So here's the tip: if you're in Canada, there's actually a way you can get crazy deals on comics. Okay, Canadian vendors generally they have to undercut themselves because they know that if they, because most of the buyers are American, right? So what the Canadian sellers will do is they'll undercut their own books just so that it balances out with the shipping costs because Americans won't buy their books. So in order to balance out the expensive shipping, they will actually kind of go cheap on the books. But if you're in Canada, well, you're getting the books.
You're
The
getting
shipping's the same.
fully barbed and feathered.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot cheaper. Um, so this one is.
Ah, yes.
So you remember this one? Do you actually know what the reference means?
Of course I do. That's the reason I got it, and I did a reel on that, and it got to the end, and I looked at it, and I mean, it's really disgusting what it is.
I know
I
that's
mean,
what
it is
I'm not gonna.
absolute filth.
Okay, yes, that's exactly.
It is.
So Dagwood, that's no way to toss a salad. Okay, so that's the joke. Okay, but it has a extra meaning, which I just learned today. So I
Oh,
recommend.
just today you learned it?
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know what it meant. Because
Yeah.
it's not some. I'm not that weird. Okay,
Well,
just like a normal.
thanks.
Well, okay, so yeah, so if you want to find out what it, look up innuendo of toss a salad. That's the search that I did in order to find out what it meant. I was like, oh wow, that's not expect. I wasn't expecting that. So
That's what
yeah,
makes it so heinous to have
it
Blondie
is
say
pretty
that.
heinous. Yeah,
It's
it's pretty.
it's
Pretty.
it's absolutely it's vile. Frankly, it's incredibly vile.
Yeah, so very funny that it's like this really innocent comic and like I don't think that they actually meant that. I don't know. I don't know. Do you
No,
think
not
they
it. No, no,
actually
they didn't because that happened. That book is dates long before that became
but this is
a
not
statement.
yeah, I mean this is not that long ago. This is from the 70s.
Is it the 70s?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I
not
can
like an
see.
old book, but
Okay, well, I think that it's old enough, and if it isn't, why shame on them.
exactly. So the funny thing is like this book because of the innuendo goes for crazy money. It's like 100 to $200.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
I got it for 20. So I was like, that's what I'm
$20.
saying. Yeah, yeah.
Though
So
then you
I
got a
was,
deal on it. I think I paid something close to that for mine.
yeah. And
I
it's
my
actually a
comic
really
guy
nice
had
copy.
my
Yeah.
comic guy had it, and he said, "Do you know what?" And he showed it to me, and he said, "Do you know what that means?" I said, "Yes, I do." And I said,
Wow.
How much is it? I must have it." And I think it was like $20 or something like that. And I said,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'll take it." And yeah, I have it. It's in with the double entendres, that's for sure.
Definitely. So yeah. So I thought that's pretty crazy. Okay, so one sec here. I'm gonna go back to you guys. So yeah, so that you look it up. It has interesting meaning.
Say no more. Say no more. I'll
Okay.
show my one book that
Yeah, wait.
I
I'm
just.
just gonna go through the happy
Oh,
birthdays here.
sure.
Happy, yeah, Jusa, thank you. And Joffrey, thank you. And Bleecker, hey Bleecker. Um, you know, see, I'm very pure. I'm like innocent guy. Oh my goodness, I'm
Yeah,
just
pure,
I'm
pure
pure as
something.
the pure as the driven snow. Okay. So, so yeah, so I'll let you show your book.
Okay. Um, these are little pocket books that are from the war in the early 50s. There are various ones, and this one has such a unique cover. I had to get it.
Oh yes, you were showing me that one, and I was telling you what.
A pocket full of pepper.
Yeah, and
And
I was
the
telling you
guy
that.
that did it, his name is Woody Kimbrell or Kimgall.
Mhm.
Kimbrel. It should be Kimbrel, something. But anyway, and the joke is this guy at the table. It says, she loves me not," as he's picking the flower
Bananas.
petals off of her fanny and various other portions of her
No,
physiognomy.
those are bananas.
Oh, it is bananas. Well, they look like feathers to me.
No, they're bananas. She's doing the banana dance.
Well, it looks like the banana dance, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's why I
And
was saying
who made that very famous, Alan?
Josephine Baker.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying, like, that's like a banana dance thing. I thought that was
But
really cool.
it's a very unusual artistic cover.
Like, when
I
is
don't know
that
how many.
from? Is that
There
like
can't
from the
be many of
early
them, huh?
50s? When is that from? 50s or
I
40s?
think that it's. Let's see. It's only 15 cents. I think it'll be more like 40s. I'll check.
Yeah, yeah. Usually those sort of more adulty, like men's magazine kind of style would be
Here's the back cover.
yeah, I
Maybe I
like the
am
back
saying
cover
things,
too.
but let me enjoy myself.
Yeah. I mean they I like the fact that they actually purposely put the line of the background through her so she's obviously a mirage.
Uh, Geez, Louise, the font they use on this is like unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really tiny.
1943.
Okay. Yeah, so
1943. So it's October of 1943.
wow. Thank you, Matt. Yeah. So that's very cool. So is that your only book that you brought to show?
Yeah, that's it. I don't have any other books. Of course, I have more books.
Well, okay. So it's going to be a very short show tonight, guys.
Is it really?
No, we're
I
done. Bye everyone.
I actually have I have my raw box of Golden Age
I have
that
a
I
box
haven't.
of Golden
A
Age
lot
I'm
of
going
that
to show as
stuff I
well.
haven't shown, and then I cracked open the safe and I got some books I haven't shown for a while.
I'm actually going to give you guys, even though it's my birthday, I have 8 boxes in front of me. Okay. I'm going to let you guys choose a number from 1 to 8. Okay. And that will determine which box of Golden Age books. Like I have 8 boxes of Golden Age. And you guys in the comments can choose which box I'm going to show a whole bunch of stuff from. I'm just going to show, like, because it's my birthday, I'll show as much stuff as I want. And
Sure, why not?
I'll cry if I want to. Okay.
That's it.
Like, I don't know if you know that. So yeah, so I'll show a bunch of stuff. You guys in the comments put like number 1 through 8, whatever you want, and then I will show based on that. So Papa says 2, good choice. That's actually not a bad box. Oh, lucky 7. Okay. There's some pretty good stuff in that box too. Like I can tell you what's in some of the boxes. Like it's like, okay, Atomic Mouse is in box 1. So if you guys like
Surprise
Atomic
us.
Mouse,
Alan, surprise us.
okay, surprise. Okay, so based on whichever box gets the most votes is the one I'll choose.
Well, my favorite number is 6, so I'll say 6.
Okay, so far we get like everybody's chosen a different number. Oh wait, we actually have 2 2s,
Good. Go with
a
Papa.
4, okay, a 4, 5, and an 8.
Go with Papa.
No, don't go. Okay, K Munin, you pick a number. It's like I want you guys to pick. Okay, so it'll be fun. It'll be some random box. Do you have something else to show before I open up? Pick a random
If
box.
you want me to show something before you open a box, I'll be happy to.
Yeah, I'll make you big.
All right.
Okay, I'll be right back too. Actually, my wife is just heading out, so I'm just going to.
I'll show some slabs. This year of 2023, I managed to get a lot of the Jack Kamen Blue Beetle Good Girl covers. This one was very, very frugally priced, incredibly frugally priced from my comic shop. And by the way, when people say my comic shop, then we have to, oh, I didn't do it. I have to ring a bell because it's Pavlovian dog stuff now, where I won't say that the store that must not be named, but when then it comes up, I have to ring the bell. So here is Blue Beetle, and this is Blue Beetle number 50 from November of 1947. And this is definitely a Jack Kamen cover. And it's a really beautiful copy. These don't really show up that often in any kind of a grade. They're always pretty low grade. The quality of the construction of the papers that they used, the construction is the cheap ass paper that he could find. Different colors, rendered animals. I mean, I don't know where he got this money, but it's a sleazy thing with sleazy art and plots. It's genius. Okay, and the next one.
Are you talking about Fox?
I am nobody else. This is I have a few pedigrees in my collection, books from different pedigree collections. I think this is the only one I have from the Windy City.
Thank you, Side Quest. Okay, yep.
Is Leading Comics #1.
Oh, very nice.
I believe that this is the first cover appearance of Green Arrow.
Yeah, it actually is. I was actually trying to get that book at one point. I picked up Leading Comics #2. That was as close as I got.
And it's the 7 Soldiers of Victory. It's interesting that on the cover, they don't have Stripesy. They have just 6 on the cover, but the 7th is the Star Spangled Kid in Stripesy. Stripesy's not on the cover.
There's actually one more key about that book.
All right, what is the key?
It's the first cover appearance of Vigilante.
Oh, as well. Okay,
yep.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Did you know the Vigilante would always shoot at stuff, but he never shot people? He wouldn't kill anybody with his guns. He was just very accurate and would use his guns to do that. Screwy.
Yeah, Aquaman didn't appear until Brave and the Bold 28.
Right.
Yeah.
The Crimson Avenger was I believe an Action Comic character.
Thank you, Spinner. Sorry.
That's all right. No,
you'll get one word in and I'll interrupt you. Okay.
That's so okay. It's your party, man.
Okay.
And the Crimson Avenger had a character sidekick named Wing. And Wing was Oriental, and it was an extremely racial stereotype, where Pigeon English and a bunch of other stuff and goofy costume and goofy features, but it was just of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And so Wing isn't here, and so it actually is pretty much 8, but they say 7.
Oh, okay. One sec.
Um,
Thank you. Next, Jen.
One of the great artists that I think that was in the golden age, good girl artist, who did a lot of stuff, but you don't hear a whole lot about it, and his name is A.C. Hollingsworth. And you'd be surprised when you're looking at golden age covers how many of them were actually done by A.C. Hollingsworth. And this is probably my favorite A.C. Hollingsworth cover.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Crimes by Women is awesome.
And this is, if you look by the cop's shoulder there, you see a circle with the lines in it. They call it the Circle Star Collection.
Okay.
I was blissfully unaware of it, but someone told me about it. And there's a collector named Nerdy Canadian who collects these crimes by women, and I think
Yes.
he has. This is not a very common book at all, and I think
The
he
whole
has two.
set isn't. The whole
Oh yeah,
set is hard to get.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he has like 2 or 3 of this particular book, number 2, and this is actually the highest graded copy of this book. Total serendipity, but I
Wow.
have the highest graded book, and actually and it has off-white pages too.
Wow.
But
Wow.
but that is one's.
Do you have any 60s
I
themed?
do have some of the 1960s. That was in Adventure Comics, and Kirby did that. And I can't remember if it was 256 or whatever it was where they had Kirby does the origin of the Green Arrow. I
Mhm.
have some adventures, and that's the nice thing about Adventure Comics of that vintage, rather than Action Comics. Action Comics would have Roy Raymond Detective or something like Con Gorilla, junk like that, but with yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Mhm.
But Adventure would have Aquaman, and it would have Green Arrow, and then it would have Superboy, but it was a much better mix in that anthology as a title of Adventure, and it had better characters, I think. So
Yeah.
anyway, there's the Crimes by Women. And of course, Alan has this book, and I think he has it in the precisely the same grade as I do. And here's another good girl is Al Feldstein.
Oh, I love that one. I have it right behind me.
And I just was thrilled to finally get a copy of this book. I paid considerably more than Alan did, but I never saw it, and I gave in, and I finally bought it. But this is my favorite junior cover. I mean, they're all really good, but this one has the edge to me because of the content.
Can you still hear me?
Who is that? Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
Oh, shoot. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, no. Somebody
What
called
happened?
in, so I got knocked out.
You want to go
Okay,
away?
I can't hear you guys. You can hear
Well,
me,
do
but I can't
you
hear
want to
you.
go back and come back in again?
Of course, on my birthday, people call in. Um, okay, just keep on going. I'll
Okay.
figure out something.
This is the first appearance of a Supergirl, not the Supergirl, but a Supergirl, the first. And it is Queen Lucy. And this is Superboy number 5. And this is from November, December of 1949. And there she is. And in this issue, Superboy meets Supergirl. And she is the queen of some like Latveria, not really, that's Doom, but Latveria or something. And she goes to, of all places, she goes to Smallville because, of course, this is Superboy. And she attends Smallville High, and she is an accomplished physical specimen. And she's smart, and she's getting better grades, and she's faster and stronger than everybody else. And then, and the students somewhat take umbrage to that. They think she's a big show off, and she was sort of incognito, but not really so much. And then Superboy, because she was so good, acrobatics and all this whatever. Then he did a super show when they found out she was this queen, And then there's the plot basically thickens with some villains who want to either abduct or kill her, and what have you. And of course, Superboy thwarts that whole situation, and she becomes more human, and everything becomes better. But and on the back, we have the spectacular Tom McCann Chuck-a-Boot.
So did they ever use that character afterwards?
I am unfamiliar. I don't believe that they did. I'm unfamiliar if she ever was used again, but it is the first Supergirl, and actually, just at the very beginning of the Supergirl series with Melissa Benoit as, and I think she does a great job. Did a great job as Supergirl. What they did was, I said, well, you know, I think maybe if this show is worth a damn, maybe Supergirl's going to take off. So what I did was I did an eBay search, and by gosh, up came a 7.5 of this
Wow.
of the book, and I said, wow, that's kind of cool, and then I bought it. And then, of course, I think about a month and a half after I bought it, why the price absolutely, I think it was discovered because people started looking for it. And I was just, for once, I was 2 steps ahead of the crowd of the
That's nice. Good
FOMOs.
timing. Yeah. Wow. And finding that book in that high of a grade is pretty impossible.
It's a really, really tough book. I don't know what the census is on it, but it can't be high,
It's not
especially with a
much. No,
grade
I think
like
it's
that.
under 100 even. I think it's really low.
There was a fella who died quite young, and his name was Billy Wright, and he evidently collected comic books and very high grade comic books. And when he passed, or shortly before he passed, he sold his collection, and it got the designation from the CGC of the Billy Wright Collection. And here I have a copy of one of the books from his collection, and it's Star Spangled Comics #2.
Oh, nice.
And this is the highest graded copy of Star Spangled Comics #2.
Oh, wow. It's always cool to have top of the census books. That's very cool. 9.4.
And
I
for
mean,
a
that's
book,
impressive.
and for a book of this age to get a 9.4
Yeah.
is really quite something.
Yeah, I would say so.
And this is from November of 1941, so probably was out in October, so just 2 months before Pearl Harbor was bombed.
Wow, very cool. Wait. Keep your books. I'm going to try to alternate between us, okay?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So one sec here. Papa had, oh, wait, we got one more guest. Biggie.
Uh-oh. Kid
Hey,
scream. What's up, Alex?
Hey, Big.
Hey, Biggie. So yeah, so that's cool. And I'm going to
Alan went away again. People keep calling him. There you are.
somebody keeps on calling. My parents are calling me. Like, don't call. So yeah. I'll let Papa show his slap. And then there we go. Which one does he have here? Oh wow, it's like some wrestling one. Biggie, do you know who that wrestler is?
It's Stig.
It's who?
Stinger. What's his name,
Stinger.
Pop? I forget. Yeah, Sting. Like Sting, you get stung by a bee. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's got a weird name. It's like a normal name. I can't remember his real name. Something like Boris. I don't know.
So yeah. So yeah, I'm not familiar. Like I stopped watching wrestling, many years ago. Like when I was a very young kid. Whenever when they changed it to WWE, I sort of got out of it. I sort of stopped. But I remember when I was a kid, my friends and I would always pretend to be wrestlers. We'd try to beat each other up. So that's very cool, Papa. That's actually a really nice cover. Even though it's very nice. Is that a pretty rare book? Yeah. So some of those wrestling ones can go for pretty big money, actually. I forgot which one. The one that you had is actually a pretty big one, right, Biggie? The Hulk Hogan one.
I got the Hulk Secret Raw variant. So it's not Secret War variant. But it's the Secret Wars variant. It's just Secret Raw because of wrestling. But yeah, it's kind of expensive.
Hmm. So wait, by the time I knew who Sting was, he was doing the whole crow gimmick. Okay. Okay. See, I'm not a wrestling guy. I don't know.
Wasn't Sting the singer of the Police?
Yes.
And he was also in Dune as one
As
of the
like sort of like yeah.
Harkonnens, Fayed.
Yeah.
Lovely
Oh, hey.
Fayed.
Hi, Mike.
I
Thank you.
make.
So yeah. So okay. So I'm gonna show my box. Like Biggie, do you have anything to show?
Maybe in a minute. I was hoping my kid would be quiet when he got in the bathtub, but he's squilling a lot. So give me a minute. I'll grab some books. You can go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you which box you guys chose. So everyone chose box number 2, actually, based on Papa actually chose box
Good
number
for
2.
that. Good for
Okay.
that.
So box number 2, and I'll show you the front of it is this big box. Can you guys see my writing? So
All
in
right.
it,
Classics Illustrated. I can't wait.
yeah, exactly. It's got The Fly. It's got Weird Worlds. It's got Tales of Horror.
Dream of
Uh,
Genie and Lobo. They go together.
yeah, it's like this is the randomness of how I sort my boxes. Like it's just pure randomness. But some of it, like I've shown before. I think I showed this recently, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah. See, I thought I saw.
Cool book though.
It
Yeah.
took me a minute, Alan, but I have to confirm I know the name of the guy. His name's Stephen Bourne, I believe. But that just continue on. It's
Okay.
a wrestling nerd thing. I had to correct myself.
Okay. So this is Pocket Comics. Are you familiar with this one?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is the first appearance of the Black Cat. So kind of a cool book. These pocket comics were kind of fun because they would people would they used to be like the fact that they're 10 cents still is you're getting half the book, but you're still paying this full price.
Yeah,
Um
that's kind of a rip, but nevertheless,
yeah,
but they thought that the format would sell, and I think, and it didn't. It not only did they get hammered more because guys would carry them around in their pockets, just
yeah.
like it says, and the books would just get trashed.
Well, other thing is they would get stolen a lot because they were pocket sized and you
Oh
could
yeah,
throw
because
them.
people would swipe them from the newsstand.
Yeah, you could steal them pretty easily. So it's a pretty cool book. Hard to find in high grade. These go for pretty big money, actually. I was
Alan, when
quite
you
happy
talk
when I won
about
it.
Alan, when you talk about theft, I wanted to throw a coin thing at you. Um,
Oh, okay.
are you familiar with the guy that would take 5-cent coins and
Hmm.
basically plate them with gold because they looked like $5 gold pieces? The face looked the same. And there
Oh,
was a
okay.
guy that did that, and the thing about it was that he was blind. So he always they tried to prosecute him. He did it all the time. And finally they caught on to him and they arrested him, and he says, "I didn't know I'm blind." And he got off.
Oh, wow. Really smart
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, it was a pretty amazing story.
Okay, so I'm going to show you some. This is how random this box is, by the way. So in the same box, I have this book. This is magazine, and this
Magazine.
is magazine number 11. Manga-zine, like
And
as in
the
manga.
and the significance of that particular book?
The first appearance of Gold Digger, just an anime character. So yeah, so it's actually pretty expensive. Like you can see, I paid less than this, but they wanted $100 for it.
Jeez Louise. That can't have a very high print run, though.
No, it's really really rare book actually. I've seen prices out up to like $200-300 for it. Crazily enough. Okay, and right next to magazine is this is actually a pretty cool black cat.
That is a really good Black Cat cover. Bondage
Yeah,
with a witch. And
yeah.
who is the guy in blue or gal in blue coming in to help?
I don't know actually. Good question. I don't know who that is. I'm just trying to think of who that is. Like it's the Salem witch, but I'm not sure
Could
who
you
the
open it? Could you open it, or do you not want to?
I don't really want to. Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry, it's just too awkward.
that's all right.
It's taped at the top. That's why.
Understood.
But this is the one only bondage cover for Black Cat.
I've never seen another copy of that book.
Yeah, actually it's one of the more pricey books from the whole Black Cat run because of the fact that it is a burning at the stake bondage cover, kind of a crazy witch one too.
Oh, I think it's awesome. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
book.
And this is what was this Black Cat 29. It's all in the same box. So this is the box with random stuff in it. Okay, this one requires a bit of censoring. Okay, but I'm going to try to censor it and show it. One sec here. This is Cocaine Comics.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one before. I can't remember where. Did you get a second copy maybe?
No, that's just I think I showed it to you before, Biggie. And then this is Cocaine Comics number 1. Or number 2, sorry, number 2.
Oh right.
So I just
Those are
have my
great.
Cocaine Comics collection all together. So this is Cocaine Comics number 1.
In Pep Comics, The Shield, I have the book. I think it's Pep, the first appearance of the Hangman. In that
Okay.
book, the Hangman takes on this Nazi guy, and his cohort's name is Snowbird. And through the whole book, he's snorting coke. The whole all the way through the show, all the way through, and I believe they're saying that is the first comic book appearance of coke snorting.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. And so that's like the first, that's sort of like the big thing for the underground comics was like just the drug use because you think, oh, it's because they're all druggies and stuff like that. But really the reason they were doing so many drug orientated ones was it was an affront to the Comic Code Authority. They were really rebelling against the Comic Code Authority. Because that was one of the big things with the Comic Code that they don't like.
Well, a lot of the head shops that also sold records and head shops kind of went together. At least in Portland, they did.
Oh yeah.
And you walk in the door and you get slammed with the burning incense and patchouli oil and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And they had all of the underground comics, and then they would have the records then that would go, a record store. But that was always a big thing, and the drug use was always a big deal.
Yeah, it was kind of a mess. But okay, here's another one that's in the same random box here. You can see that this is one of these ones. This was created by the Baptist Church, what's called the Southern Baptists by Crump Strickland. It's actually kind of a cool book. It's basically a moral guide, which is kind of funny, but very.
I think that the mother in that is a very good role model, and is trying to get have her son do good. And I think that it's a very positive book.
Yeah, it is actually. It is a very positive book. It's just,
but the way it looks is just no bueno now. It's no bueno.
The way it's been illustrated is maybe not the best. Oh well. So this one is Time for.
I love that one.
Time for Press. So this is the first appearance of Hellboy in comics. Quite a rare book. This is an Italian.
Incredibly rare. It's Italian, isn't it?
It is Italian. Beautiful. Yep. It's probably one of Capullo's biggest books. Yeah.
This one came up on my comic shop, and I was like, I instantly bought it. It was like just like I was just so lucky to pick it up because this book is hard to find.
It's a ghost, for sure.
It is definitely one of the it's like dime for press, it's like, and it's like
it's not Hellboy, but it is Hellboy.
It is Hellboy. It is definitely Hellboy. It is by what's his name?
Mignola.
Mignola.
Yeah, I would say that's one of Mignola's biggest books.
Alan just got another phone call.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's like the Hellboy drill.
Sorry, I'm getting calls, and every time I have to like. So Mignola, great book. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Just sorry about that. Okay. So
be flattered. People want to call and wish you well.
It's my parents. My parents are very slow about catching the fact that I'm not trying to answer the phones. So- okay, so I've shown these recently. I'm not going to show those again. So some of this is like been shown recently. So I'm not. That's the only problem with this one box. One sec here. But I picked stuff that I haven't shown recently. Okay, this little collection I haven't shown recently. So this box has like a bunch of stuff in it. Okay, so you probably saw on the box label it says "I Dream a Genie."
Yep.
I'm not sure.
And there he goes again.
One second. Okay. Oh,
There you
can
are.
you still see me? Hear me?
Yep. I can hear you. I can see you.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Jeez. Wow, my parents like they're calling like every different way. They're trying to FaceTime me now. So it's just like keeps on blocking me. So yeah, so this is I'm not sure which one is number one. I think this is number two. I'm not sure. I always get them mixed up. This is April. So I think that might be number one actually. That's number one. Yeah, that's number one, and this is number two. So there's only two in the series. I Dream a Genie. So yeah. Oh wow. Thank you, Mon. I try to be. For a Canadian geek, I try to be sexy. Okay. Okay, so can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just like I'm worried I'm like talking to myself here. Okay, sorry. And then some flat top. I like these good girl ones, beach covers. I don't know. It's like a thing. And
Who's the artist on that?
good question. I should know actually. I have no idea. Does anyone know? This is actually not a golden age. This is so like probably
Code
from
book.
yeah, it's
Boy,
probably
they
like
sure
50.
they sure cut the top of that stamp off, didn't they?
Yeah, I think somebody didn't like it too much. I think this is probably like 56, 50 era. I would say 55, 56, you know, just when the code gets in because it's a bit of a big code. But yeah. I wish I could figure out who that is. I've seen that style before and I should know who they are, but I can't remember. And this you've seen before too.
Yes.
BB Raiders.
B bar B Riders.
Right, Raiders. Riders. I mean, yeah, B bar B. I keep on wanting to say like triple B. So yeah.
Well, Bobby Benson and the B bar B Riders was a radio show,
Oh
and they had
really?
a cantankerous old guy on it, and the guy that portrayed the cantankerous guy was Don Knotts.
Oh wow. I like Don
Yeah,
Knotts.
and
I
they
actually
and
saw
he
one of
was
his
in
last
radio,
performances, believe it or not.
and that was that he was very popular. And then when Andy Griffith, when they were casting for No Time for Sergeants, which was
Hmm.
his first big movie, which is a fantastically wonderful movie. They wanted to cast Don Knotts specifically because he's such a character, fabulous actor.
Oh, so okay, so Warren Kramer is the
Kremer,
artist.
Kremer.
Yeah, Kramer.
Yeah,
Kramer.
Warren Kremer. Thanks,
Kramer.
Matt.
Kramer. Yeah, thank you. Okay. And this one actually is considered a Hitler cover as well. I'm not sure what's like here.
Yeah, the one on the far right is Hitler's
All
head
right.
hanging on a hook.
Right there. So that's kind of a cool thing about that too. Yeah, I was a big fan of Don Knotts back in the day. I used to watch what's it called?
Three's Company.
Three's Company, but also what's it called? The Carol Burnett Show.
Was Don Knotts on the Carol Burnett show, or was that
I
Tim
think
Conway?
Tim Conway. I thought both of them were.
I don't believe that Don Knotts was
You're probably thinking Andy Griffith's show, Alan.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Andy Griffith's show.
Carol Burnett had Harvey Korman, Wink, whatever his name is, Wink Martindale or whatever his name was, and then they had Tim Conway.
But I did watch a lot of Don Knotts movies like Private Eyes and The Fighter. I think there's one where he's like a boxer.
Well, the one with the incredible Mr. Limpet when he goes to spawn in the ocean, and then
Yeah,
there was
I
the
didn't
one with
ever
the
see that
haunted
actually.
house. The ghost and Mr. Chicken was Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I
went to
watched
a
that.
birthday party when that was first released, and that was where we went.
And the Apple Dumpling Gang, I watched that. But there's one where he's like a prize fighter, and he had like a punch, that one punch, and he could knock anyone out, kind of thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but he was like, a total wimp. but he had one punch that could, kind of knock people out. It was kind of a funny
I
thing.
kind of want to watch it now. Yeah.
And then we got Black Cat Mystery, nice bondage cover and voodoo stuff going on.
Wow, they have her tied tummy side down. My goodness.
Yeah,
And
it's really
this
interesting.
looks like a Lee Elias cover.
It is a Lee Elias cover. So yeah, so it's a great pre-code horror stuff, and this is the same series that had the other Black Cat. It's just they went to horror later on. This is Black Cat number, what is this, number 43, and the big one for Black Cat Mystery is
That's
50.
the bell clapper.
No, the Bell Clapper is 25, but it's a different series. It's what's it called? What is it? Weird Mysteries or something? Is it, or Weird Tales? 25, isn't it? I always get the numbers mixed up. I always get the titles mixed up. But yeah, Black Cat Mystery, the big Black Cat Mystery is number 50, which is the melted face, the mess, like the exploded face one. So yeah. Thank you, Hudat. And I think I showed this one before, but I still like it. This one I always like because of the fact that it's like the girl is killing the guy, and the girl is going to get killed. It's always like multiple people, kind of like a chain reaction, almost like a domino effect, where people are, the killer is getting killed basically. So yeah, so there's that one. And then this one's the same idea. She just pushed in the guy, and she's now going to get pushed in. So these are Fight Against Crime, Horror, and Suspense. It's kind of fun. And then we got Amazing Adventures number 3. I like these ones a lot. These Ziff Davis ones are really underrated, in my opinion. So they have some pretty cool covers. So yeah, so that's the first bit of my box. I'll let you guys show some stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I can get some in real quick. I better kind of zip and dash if I can.
Yeah.
If that's all right.
Yeah.
I'm glad I can make it though. Hop on.
Oh yeah. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, good to see you, Pop.
I'll make you big here, Piggy.
All right. I got a couple slabs I won from Cali Comics, and that's always fun because little slabs. This is called Monster Kill Squad. Monster Kill Squad number 1.
Wow.
Got a pretty good back cover on it.
Good shoot 'em up.
9.8. He gave me a raw one to go with it too. And this is a Amazing Spider-Man 46, the Peach Momoko. Oh shit! Knocked my screen over there. So the Peach Momoko.
Oh wow!
Remember when that was big and popular? Everybody, Peach Momoko, Peach Momoko.
Anything Peach Momoko was all of a sudden the hottest book for a while.
Yeah. So these might be some stuff I've shown before. A couple of them ain't though. Thought I'd show my Gibbon Gang. I don't have a lot of 20-cent Spider-Man ASM, and that's one of my. I really like the way they look. They're pretty good looking books.
I have the Gibbon shirt. Is it the Puma? Which one is
No,
it?
it's the Gibbon.
It's a Gibbon. Yeah, that's what I thought it was Gibbon. Yeah.
I think Bigby's buddy was talking about Legion of Superheroes, and I would tell him go get you a Legion of Supervillains. It's about 20 times cheaper and looks just about the same.
Yeah, I know.
It's surprisingly more difficult to get than one would think. In the big 10-cent boxes, those big 10 cent price books are tough, and that's a great homage to Adventure Comics 247, Big.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's one of those books where you find it. If you don't know anything about it, you're like, oh, I found it, you know, and then you're like, oh, no, that's not
then you
it.
realize it's not the right one. I bought,
Yeah.
when I first got it, that's what I was thinking, oh, I got the big one. Then I was like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe not. Maybe not.
So here's the, I'll have to flip through this since I got the slab. I can read it later. The Monster Kill Squad. And he also sent me a Michael Bendis. I love this cover, though. It's pretty good. You got the Ant-Man.
I'm glad they put Ant-Man back in into his Ant-Man costume with the cybernetic helmet and stuff. I like it. That's signed copy too, isn't it, Big?
Yeah. Bendis signed it. It's really nice.
Oh wow! Did you get him to sign it yourself, or did you buy it?
No, he just sent it to me extra with the slabs I won. It's Cali Comics.
Oh wow, that's pretty awesome.
Nice.
This is like it was printed yesterday. This is a back of a Mylar, so the top of it's kind of weird, but it's just a fresh Joe Kubert. It looks like a brand new comic. I couldn't believe how mint condition it was. I was like, wow.
Oh, that's really nice. So what's going on there? There's a baby.
Yeah.
The Germans are already dead, but they're going to throw a grenade in on the poor little baby. And we go, no!
Oh,
yes,
wow.
The Americans have defeated the Germans, but all there's left is a baby, and it's a cute baby. It's a Nazi baby, but, you know.
It's a cute Nazi baby.
Yeah, it shouldn't have to die. And then this is the really cool. I didn't know nothing about this. I'm sure y'all might. It's called Wah Ditko's H Heroes series.
Oh wow, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, ain't that neat? It's like Bronze Age 60 Cent.
That's kind of weird one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on there? He's saying something something.
My revenge.
My revenge.
Hey, have you seen this before, Steppo?
I have not, but I do know that Ditko did a lot of really oddball stuff near the end of his life. He had like the Laughing Men or whatever, and it was all a lot of tumbling and a lot of, it looked like Spider-Man layouts and stuff, but with oddball characters. Cool stuff. Nice back cover.
The back cover is probably better than the front.
I agree with you.
I agree.
I remember he was doing a character. It was kind of like The Question, but it was his own character. It was kind of like The Question, and now he was doing like a main thing. So yeah, the insides are black and white, so it's kind of like an outlaw indie deal with Ditko. Kind of neat.
No, that's cool.
No doubt.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about who drew the interior. That's Ditko straight up.
Yeah, he's like, I'll just do it myself, guys. No problem. I thank you for having me on, Alan and Steppo and Pop. I've said this before, but since it's Alan's birthday, I'll say it again. Alan has the best channel on comic books and information. And I appreciate you, man. I'll catch y'all later on the club, dude.
Okay, thank you. Thank you again for coming up.
Later, guys.
Bye. Man, he's really trying to make me send him lots of money. It's so annoying.
He did.
For saying that I have the best channel, I have to write him a check again. It's like so annoying.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so I'll let you show some more books.
Sure.
Yeah, but
in my quest to find out about the Sandman, the two annuals that were the precursors to World's Best, and then for that one issue, and then it turned into World's Finest. But the second big annual by DC was New York World's Fair Comics of 1940. And this book is famous also for it's the first appearance of Superman, Batman, and Robin all together for the first time on a cover.
That's right, yeah.
And it is also the very first cover by Jack Burnley, who is a great cover artist for DC and did a lot of really, really cool covers. And this cover in particular, that's with the triangular S on Superman, is a really, really cool touch, very much like the really early Morphons that had him as Dr. Occult, and they basically had the triangles, but they didn't have the stylized crest kind of S device on his chest. But this, I think, is his proportions are so good. And of course, in the background, of course, yellow cover, but it is the Trilon and the Perisphere. The Trilon is the triangular one, and then the Perisphere. And people would go up into those things for the 1939 World's Fair, and it was still around for the 1940. The 1939 World's Fair was the last really big world event because of World War II coming on big time. And countries that were then going to be absorbed by the Nazis or at war, all were there. All the very rich cultural stuff going on at the World's Fair of 1939. And in 1940, it was considerably less grand because the war actually was in Europe. And so they really couldn't be having and the whole point of having a World's Fair was to foster relations between different countries and share cultures and all that really good stuff. When, of course, Hitler just threw the whole thing into a cocked hat. Mm-hmm. On the back cover, which is sometimes you just don't really see it very often, is great balloon shots with all of these different characters that are inside. And so they're all early appearances. Of course, Slam Bradley and Red, White, and Blue are sort of went the way of the dodo. But Johnny Thunder had a new lease on life. So did Zatara, and so did Hourman, and of course, then the big three. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the Superman picture, they call that, whenever you have that, it's the old Superman picture, is old headshot, because it's very, very crude. And that's a Schuster image. And I don't know if Burnley did Batman and Robin, but I don't know if they did or not.
So, by the way, why did they have Johnny Thunder and the Flash?
Why did they have Johnny and the Thunderbolt?
Isn't Johnny Thunder very similar to the Flash, though? Isn't he a fast?
No, Johnny Thunder is a guy who discovered, I don't know if it was a magic lantern or something. Mm-hmm. And the magic lantern imbued him, that he basically had a connection to it. And if there was a word in Egyptian or whatever foreign country, I think it was Egyptian, mm-hmm. and it was CEI-U. And what that did was, that was like saying open sesame. It was like, and then the Thunderbolt would come out and do his bidding. In other words, the Thunderbolt would appear.
So Johnny Thunder himself didn't do anything. He just had this genius.
Johnny Thunder, but what the joke about it was, he'd always say, the writers would say that he would be in some conversation. He says, "Say, you know what I think?" And then boom, up comes the Thunderbolt. Mm-hmm. And so then when he would want the Thunderbolt to come, he couldn't remember what it was he said to get the Thunderbolt to come. So he's running for his life all the time. So it was sort of a running gag as far as with Johnny Thunder. But he got a lot of traction. He was around for a long time.
Well, he was in All-Star Comics. I didn't really know much about the character, though.
Yeah. And that's interesting. This book is a DC book. But
oh, by the way, Kamian asked, why is it a 5.0? It looks nicer.
I got shanked. It's just that simple. I
okay,
got it's a 6.5 probably. And I've never, it was a CBCS. I probably Bandisharia, yes, Seiyu, CEI-U, precisely.
I see. How do you say that?
Bandisharia, Seiyu. It's like SAYYOU. Seiyu.
Okay. Yeah, so you remember the first part, but not the second, and then you just randomly say.
And Bandisharia was where the Thunderbolt, the magical kingdom where the Thunderbolt came from.
Oh wow! So Johnny Thunders was the seventh son of Bronson on July 7th, 1917, making him a special and able to command the Thunderbolt. Wow. We're learning so much.
Seventh son, that's right. Seventh son, born on 7/7/17.
Yeah.
And that gave him the power to be the luck of his birth. That imbued him with the ability to basically call forth the Thunderbolt, and then you never knew exactly what brought the Thunderbolt out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
when I first became an advisor to the guide, they would put Portland, Oregon by my name, and the people here in town would see that there was somebody from Portland, and my name was in the phone book. And a couple times, I got people that called and said, "Hey, I've got these old books. We don't know what they're worth or anything. Could you help us?" I said, "I'd be happy to." So I take a guide over and show them all that. I would show them what the grade of the books were and everything else. This is, well, we really would like to sell them. And if it was a book that I liked, I said, "Well, I would be happy to buy that book. I can't say I buy all the books, but I can, and I'll put you in touch with someone who would like to buy the rest." And I made some very good friends that way, and they sold their books, and I managed to get a few books, but very fairly. I'm like Mike of Lunch Money Comics. I think that karma comes back on you if you take advantage of people. It's not right to do that, especially if they're completely don't know what's going on. So you have to be fair with them, and I have always operated that way. But anyway, there was this book that I have here. Had a spine roll in it, and a very pronounced spine roll. And so I pointed out, and they were looking at, yeah, it doesn't look very good. So I had it cleaned and pressed at the CGC, at CCS or whatever. And by God, this Captain America came back an 8.0.
Wow. That's kind of nice.
Because the spine roll did not break color. The spine roll was done in such a way that it could all be pressed out. It was a miracle. I thought I would be lucky if I got a 5 out of it, to be honest. And yet it comes back, and Off-White Pages an 8.0 Captain America.
Wow, very
number
nice.
15. Isn't that a pip?
That you must have been super excited when you got that.
I was stunned. I had absolutely no idea. And I don't know if because I got such a good deal on this one, ever since then they always want to.
That's how karma works, right?
I know. The karma ran over my dogma, right?
Yeah.
This is another one that I got shanked as well, but nevertheless, and this was an important book to me because my dad had this book. Not this book, but he had a copy of this book, and the cover was gone and the first 2 wraps.
Oh, wow.
But I had an opportunity, and the book is Superman number 17, which is my favorite Superman book.
That's an awesome one.
DC used this also at Christmas time for Christmas cards and for promotional stuff. They
used that cover?
They used this image, yeah.
Oh, wow. For Christmas cards? It's not very Christmas.
During the war, yes, they did.
Wow, that's funny.
And this is from July, August of 1942. So it's early so it probably would have been in May or April that this was, that they did this. This was from a collection of books that John Burke got the number 1 out of that same collection. And both of our books and the books that are in this run were in beautiful condition, but some guy who owned them signed his name in blue soluble ink in the top up here by the seal. And the guy that had them, the seller, who was very adept at restoration and conservation, Mark Wilson. And so what he did was, he took the cover and he floated the signature off of the cover. That's all he did. So I got conserved, and that's why it's conserved.
Yeah, the one good thing about the conserved label, if you don't really look, it looks just like a normal blue label.
Well, and again, this was in like 1993, 1994, maybe stuff like that, 92 when I got it. So, I mean, at the time, no one thought anything about that, just like we've talked about.
Yeah, it's
at least it wasn't a purple.
It's kind of bogus that they even thought that was an issue, but it probably left the smell of the vinegar, maybe.
No, there was no absolutely. No. I held 1 through 20 before they were slabbed. I held 1. I had 14 as well. But 14 was one of a big chunk of money that I sold it because it was just as beautiful as this, and 14's got all the notoriety. This one, the interior of this has a much better interior story system than the 14. I'll digress for just a second and go quick. 14 has like a boxer, and they've got some other junk in there, but it's I would say very mundane and pedestrian.
Yeah, but this is like Fortress of Solitude and stuff.
Well, the first thing this is the first story is the first time that Lois Lane suspects Superman and Clark Kent are the same thing, same person.
Yeah.
This is the first time. And the center spread is the Fortress of Solitude, the 2-page spread at the centerfold.
Mm-hmm.
And the last story is a great Lex Luthor story where it starts out with him in the electric chair being fried.
You're telling me that story, yeah.
Yeah. And so you have a Luthor story with a huge brawl and an electric chair electrocution. You have the Fortress of Solitude, and you have Lois Lane suspecting Clark is Superman with a great propaganda cover with Hitler and Hirohito.
Yeah, awesomeness.
How can you go wrong with a beautiful?
Well, it's an expensive
spanning
book.
the world.
Yeah, I actually tried to pick up a copy recently, but it's an expensive book.
Now with air rifles didn't shoot anything, right? So BB guns did, but air rifles didn't. They would compress the spring and it would make a loud pop. But what guys would do in my childhood was they would take it and they would jam it into the dirt. They would cock the gun and then jam the barrel of the gun down in the dirt. And then you'd fire the dirt clod at you. If it's hard clay, which is what we have here in Oregon, a lot of clay soil, it hurt like hell.
Wow.
And you could shoot like, I mean, these things kicked hard. And it would push a clog of mud, maybe, 15, 20 feet with velocity. I mean, if it was close up, it could hurt you.
So, by the way, how did CGC know that that book had the restoration, the conservation?
I have no idea. I don't know. I'm
just wondering how they were even able to determine that. If it was just water.
I don't know. They have their ways, I guess. But Burke's copy came. As a matter of fact, the first time I sent this in, it came back with a 7.5 purple label.
Yeah, you were saying, and then you had
or a 7.0. It came back a 7.0 purple label, and so I sent the thing back to hello. Okay, you mean Batman 1? All of this, these machinations with the judging and the grading of the books. I sent it back and I said, look, John Burke just got his Superman #1 and he got a conserved label. This book comes right from the same one. So if his is conserved, mine is conserved too.
So it was almost guilt by association.
That's exactly right. And so then I sent it back. They gave me the conserved label and they bumped me half a grade. Which they should have bumped me a full grade because it's a 9 anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what it gives and takes away.
Yeah. So Biggie's after early single-digit Batman or Superman. Yeah, that'd be the next big.
Papa made a request that I show Batman 1, and for Papa, I will do that. I don't want to have the Bat 1 become shop worn. But for Papa, I'll go get it. I'll be right back.
You go get it. I'll also show some stuff while you're doing that. Okay, so I'm going to show some books while Stephen is getting his Batman 1 out of the safe. So I'm going to show some cool books. Hopefully you guys like them, even though they're not as cool as a Batman 1. So I can't compete against a Batman 1, but I will show you a really cool horror series called Tales of Horror. And this was a fairly popular series. Tales of Horror. This is number 5. And then we got Tales of Horror number 6 or number 3. And the one that's, if you see up here in the corner, there's a Tales of Horror that has this like snake wrapped around this building. One second, let me zoom in a little bit. And that one, that's the big grail from the run. That goes for big money. Yeah, so this is Tales of Horror number 3. I want to get these in order. Okay, then we got Tales of Horror number 4. And these are just great, like nice little run of pre-code horror comics. So these Tales of Horror. I almost have the complete run, except for that really expensive one. Then we got Tales of Horror number 12. So this is all just to, show you some cool books while we're waiting for the Batman 1 to come out. I feel so lame comparatively, but I thought this one was a cute one. This one it's censored. This is Terror Man. Read The Ugliest Man in the World. So He's just really ugly, so that if you see him, you'll get scared by his ugliness. So this is Tales of Horror number 1. And then we got Tales of Horror number what issue number is this? Number 13, which is the very last issue of the run. No, Matt, you're not that ugly. It's okay. Don't worry. So yeah, this is the last issue of the run, and we got a couple more. I gotta put these in order. We got Tales of Horror number 11. And a lot of them had really great Good Girl art covers. This one's a Good Girl art cover. And we got this one, where she's like kind of like almost like wrapped around by all these snakes, which I thought was really cool. That's number 10. And this is actually my favorite from the run. Sort of like this is one where, you got the monster in the pool. And there's actually a comic that is called Sham, where they use this cover and they're sort of joking about the fact that, hey, honey, you should have cleaned the pool more often. So
that's like that Betty and Veronica or Betty and Me or whatever, where the creature from the Black Lagoon is coming out of the pool.
Yeah, same idea. But this is a little bit earlier. Okay, are you almost ready, Stephen?
I are.
Okay, and do you know what the significance of this one is?
Millie the Model number 2.
Millie the Model number 2, but do you know why it's significant?
Because it's signed by Millie Collins.
It's not signed by anyone famous, but you're right, it is signed by Millie Collins. Who is Millie Collins? I have no idea.
She's the daughter of Old Man Collin.
Yeah.
I don't know what the significance is. What is it?
So this one is the first appearance of is it Sun Girl? I'll actually take it out. So what happens is Millie the Model, or is it not Sun Girl, but Blonde Phantom? I'm pretty sure. One sec here. I'll quickly. She dresses up as the Blonde Phantom. One sec here. I have to kind of look through it so I can kind of show you the art as I'm flipping through it. But where is it? So this one actually came out before the Blonde Phantom did, and she dresses up as the Blonde Phantom. So it's not actually the Blonde Phantom, but she kind of dresses up as the Blonde Phantom.
Who drew the story? Was it a Ken Bald story? Is it a Timely or Marvel?
So this is Marvel, I believe, or Timely. I'm not sure if it's which one is it. One sec here, I'll look it up. It'll say in the mass the indicia. Published by. It just says London Publishing Corp, which is probably like Timely or something. I don't know. That's really weird. I don't know.
What year is it? Is it 48, 47?
You're asking me all these questions where I have to look at the thing here. 1946.
Okay, and can I just say on the back cover is one of the things that made Schwinn bicycles the best, and it's called it had a cantilever frame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was very big back then because a lot of them were very square and set up, but that cantilever frame put Schwinn on the map. It was a very innovative design.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to find where she dresses. Like she has kind of like a semi costume, like she has like a mask on. It doesn't really look like Blonde Phantom. So one sec here. But I know she does dress as Blonde Phantom somewhere in this comic.
Sure.
So, yeah, so one sec here. So it's see, they actually refer to her as the Blonde Phantom too. This one's in pretty rough shape, so one sec here. but it actually, okay, if you look, I'm not sure if you can see that.
Well, she has a Harlequin mask on.
Yeah, but it actually says, okay, I'll read it since it's a little awkward. Okay, so, gee, it's the blonde phantom, just like the pictures in the papers. See? So that's
just like the pictures in the paper. Well, that means the blonde phantom's already been in the papers, right?
in the newspapers, but never in a comic.
What was the first appearance of her in comics, Alan?
Well, it's this book in theory, but actually it's all select number 11. One sec here.
Is all select number 11? Isn't that before 1946?
I think it was like 1946, but at the end of 1946. Okay, so that's, I don't know. So that's
Thank
my.
you. Thank you for doing that. That's very interesting.
Okay, I'll grab. I'll grab. I'm gonna actually grab all select and just you show.
Okay.
You show your Batman. I'll grab all select.
Papa, I will show this for you. Here it is. I was very, very fortunate to get this. And the condition of the book is truly outstanding. It's one of those things where, God put it right in front of my path and he said, okay, here you go, fish or cut bait. I mean, I'm throwing it at you. Here you go. If you're going to do it, here you go. If you're not going to do it, then don't squawk. The ribs on Batman's cape, I think, look so cool. And the detail and shading and everything else on this cover as a #1 comic, cover, it's pretty damned awesome. And this is the first appearance, of course, of the Batman trade dress logo, and that was designed by Jerry Robinson. I don't think that Bob Kane tried to take credit for that, although he seemed to try to take credit for a lot of stuff. But basically that Batman logo was designed by Jerry Robinson, and Jerry Robinson also was the one. It was very instrumental in the creation of Robin, and he also was the one that decided to put or used as a visual cue for Batman is the gigantic moon that he would always put in the backs of the covers to have Batman sort of like, it's like a giant spotlight, but it would be like a moon at nighttime for it. But there it is. And I just think that it's just a very, and it's interesting that there's sort of this, I won't say crenellation, but there's an effect on Batman's bat on his chest that make it look like it's like made out of vinyl or something. I mean, it's kind of shiny. It has a little bit of a sheen on it to sort of set it off the chest rather than just being plain black. It had a little bit of shininess to it to make it stand out. But Bob Kane's proportions and his artwork is very good, and a lot of the fight scenes and stuff that he would do, he studied how to draw, the human form in doing physical activity. A lot of the things for tumbling and for trapeze work, circus work, and stuff when they'd have Robin, and when they'd have stuff where he'd be going through. Back in this time frame too, Robin actually had a weapon, and his weapon was a sling. So he would basically put a big ball bearing in it, and then he was unerringly accurate with this sling. And they would show him, he would see it coming, and they'd show him bending over and putting it into the sling, and then around and around and around, and then he would go like this, and the ball bearing would come flying out, and what they would do is Kane would put ZING, always zing all the way to do it, and it clocked these guys right in the temple and stuff. I thought it was really cool, the early Batman stories with Robin, where he used the sling. It was very, very cool. But I just wanted, I'm happy to show it for you, Papa. I have a few more. I grabbed the books.
Grab a few more. Show a few more. Yeah.
I grabbed some of the books that Batman sits on. He has his own little shelf, and then I put him face up so that I don't scuff the Mylar. Because if you move a book up and down a Mylar, you'll get those vertical scratches on it. I mean, it's just what happens. But I like to keep that perfectly clean so that there's no mess up when presenting the cover. This book is another book where I went to an older couple that had comics, and out of those comics came this one.
Oh yeah,
and it also had a very pronounced spine roll, and this is a single staple book because it was produced in June of 1943 during World War II. So it only had one staple. And when they got the book, and it's a thick book because it's during the war, so what they did when they were pressing it, they said, look, Matt Nelson was at CCS at that time, and he said, look, Steve, I'll try to press this for you, but it's only got one staple. And the spine roll was like maybe an inch and a half, inch and 3/4 to 2 inches of the book was, completely wrapped back. So in other words, you had this huge gap, like about this far, where it was just completely whiffed. Someone had rolled it up and stuck it in their pocket for a long period of time. Again, there were no color breaks along the spine, miraculously. So I bought the thing, and it came back, amazingly, a 5.5.
Oh, wow. Not bad.
And the artist on this cover, actually, Jack Kirby has stories inside. It's a Jerry Robinson cover and art. Newsboy Legion and Sandman crossover and Boy Commandos, and the Joker and Franklin D. Roosevelt appearances.
Very cool.
This is sort of random, whatever these books that some sort of the keys. Here is a book by Continental Comics from August of 1944 by Alex Schomburg. And I know that Ricky, All Sorts of Words, is after this particular book. And this was part of a collection that was called the East Lansing Collection from East Lansing, Michigan, that was discovered by Harley Yee and I think another guy, but Harley, and that's right in his backyard because Harley is in Livonia, Michigan, and East Lansing, I mean, it's his home turf. And here was this collection, which you don't get. It has no pedigree. It should. There were plenty of runs that were in there. But this is the East Lansing copy of Strange Tales 110.
Very nice.
So
the East Lansing one, though, is not considered a proper pedigree. It doesn't get
No, but the way it is now, that they have all this, the Feed and Seeds pedigree and Joe Blow's books or something like that. I mean, the East Lansing collection had Strange Tales, Tales to Astonish, Journey into Mysteries, Amazing Spider-Man, Avengers. It had all these runs that were beautiful. And all the big guys snarfled all of those up. And the two titles that I liked were Strange Tales and Tales to Astonish. So I very happily was the one that basically they were still available, and I batted cleanup and very happy to do so. They're all of them about, right in the vicinity of 9.2, 9.4. They're all beautiful, beautiful books with white pages. That's where that Strange Tales 107 comes from, the 9.6 white pager of Strange Tales, Fire and Water. Just before the Guardians of the Galaxy started, and they were talking about the cast of characters, I saw a lot of the I saw a lot of the pre-hero monster anthologies, Tales to Astonish, Journey into Mystery, Strange Tales, etc. They always would have the monsters, the Marvel monster covers. And one of the ones that sort of resonated, the one that resonated the most was Fin Fang Foom. But the other one that was sort of interesting was Groot. And so I figured, well, I'll take a shot. I mean, I went looking just before the movie was released. When I saw the cast, I said, well, if this movie's any good, maybe the first appearance of Groot would be good. And then took me a little bit. I looked a few times, and then found this one before everything went crazy on it.
And what grade is that?
7.0.
Yeah, I can't see the grade just because the live, yeah, you know, there's the how long we've been live at all that is at the top, and it just cuts off the top of you. So that's really cool. That's a really cool book. That was actually one of the books that was I won that on Heritage Auctions in a green label. So I you know, and I was super excited to win it.
Well, it's a tough. All of them are just completely hammered. They were read and reread and reread. And Martin Goodman did not buy the highest quality. DC books are far better made. I think they spent more money on the materials at DC than they did at Marvel. Marvel cut corners. But again, they're trying to make a buck. They're not trying to make Gutenberg Bibles, right?
Yeah, they didn't care if they lasted or not.
No, they just wanted to make a buck.
Mm.
Here is my copy of AF-15, off-white to white pages.
That's a book that, in a way, would have been nice to have sold back a couple years ago.
Again, but if you say, well, I woulda, coulda. I mean, hindsight's 2020. It's still sitting at about $97,000, and I think it may come back depending, as things turn the corner. AF-15.
Well, a couple of Spider-Man movies come out, and it'll be hot again. Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but I mean, it's certainly a good. I think it's a good time still. Maybe not quite as good as it was, but I think it's a very good time to chase Marvel keys.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's the grail of Marvel books for the Silver Age. I mean, that's.
Well, I think there's one other.
And are you going to show it? Okay.
I will. I'll show it. I'll show it. This isn't it though. This is, of course, my favorite title when I was a little kid, 1960. I was 7. Was the Legion of Superheroes. I love the Legion of Superheroes. Edmund Hamilton, who was a writer of quite some distinction, wrote for Weird Tales. And he was hired at DC Comics and lived long enough, and he was part of the crew that basically came up with and helped create the Legion of Superheroes. And his voice as a writer is what gave voice to the personalities of the different characters. And so in other words, John Fort would do the art, a lot of times the more rigid looking ones. Kurt Swan did a lot of it too later, but John Fort was the first to do it. And it was very interesting. And I wonder, the very first one was done by, let's see here, Binder Miller.
And that's a grill. That in Action 252.
Both of those, they're sort of the same, about the same vintage, and they all have. And if you'll notice, even though this is a 7, do you notice the right edge? How there is that very slight discoloration vertically, about the 1/16 of an inch in. I don't know if you can see it.
On the right side.
On the open end, on the right side of the book, not the spine side, the other side.
It's almost like it's slightly lighter blue than the blue that
it's slightly, ever so slightly discolored, about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch in. Action 252 is exactly the same. Almost every cover I've ever seen. Something.
Here, let me grab my copy. I'm gonna take a look.
Sometime in that time frame, for whatever reason, their manufacturing process caused that. They all do that. All have that. But anyway, so I went after. I finally was able to get a copy. This has been a ghost and hard to find, and they are always very expensive and in very, very, very well loved grades. And I was trying to get one that was a nice copy, and I Like Comics had it, and I bought that. And the last one I'll show right in this, or actually, yeah, the last one I'll show in this group is the other book that is the top in the Marvel, and this is my Hulk #1.
Mm.
And
That
this
book
is
keeps on going up and up and up.
it's a 7.5 with white pages and no Marvel chipping of any sort, and it is
Yeah, he showed the homage earlier, and then this is,
okay.
and he also said a Hulk one is the FF one. Yeah.
This particular copy, both my AF-15 and this book, I bought from Bob Storms of High Grade Comics, and nice guy, gave me a very nice deal on them. I mean, it was fully priced. He gave me a little bit off, but he gave me something. And at the time, the actual, I think it was 2014 or so, 2015 maybe. And I paid market price for them, but finding nice copies. And I had asked him earlier, I said, do you ever come across? He says, well, he says, I'm not there. They do come up with a certain amount of regularity, but I said, but I'm going to wait until, he says, let me find one that's a really nice copy for you. And so I waited, I was patient to get nice copies. And so then I ended up, then first came the AF-15, and there were two of them. There were two 6.5s, and one of them had Marvel chipping, and the other one did not. And he said, "Which one do you want?" I said, "You're kidding, right?" Both of them are 6.5, and one had Marvel chipping and pre-Marvel chipping. That was basically it's just a ticking time bomb on that edge, and then the other one that didn't have any of it. So I said, "I'll take the one without, please, thank you."
Mhm.
And so that's how I got that. But the combination of these two books back in 2015 or so was the AF-15 was 35 grand, and this one was 40. I paid more for the Hulk than I did for AF-15. And
I think you did better, in my opinion.
well, I think so too. I do.
Mhm.
And at the time that I did that, the cost of because I wanted to get a Batman one, and I wanted to
Mhm.
invest, and I kept talking about this as an advisor in my market reports that Silver Age, high grade Silver Age key books is a really good place to park your money.
Sure.
And I finally I took my own advice and I said, well, I keep talking about it. Before it gets too far gone, I got it. I should probably do it too. So I looked in. I knew that the big 4 or 5 Silver Age books, FF1, AF-15, Hulk One, Showcase 4, were the ones that immediately came to mind. And because I love the Flash sentimentally, I wanted to get a Showcase 4. But my head overruled my heart, and I went AF-15 and I went Hulk One instead. And so, with that in mind, the cost of these two books, 75 grand, was less than half what it would have cost, half of what it would have cost to buy a Batman #1 in like a 3.5,
But you know what's
3.035.
funny? Um, you actually got the Batman one for cheaper than that book.
But that would have been a blue label.
Yeah,
And
I
I
know.
knew
I
that,
know.
and the Bunky brothers bought, I think, a 3.5 or a 3.0, I think a 3.5. And although it should have been, I think should have been, that they would have been 135,000. It was more than that. They said, no, we paid like 137.5 or something like that to buy that book. In the day that it was just that much more expensive. And again, how many Bat ones were coming out at the time, and then what was the market like, and people taking profit. And I think sometimes when some guys will point out, like Ryan at Automatic will point out that there do seem to be Batman ones seem to be showing, and they sort of they come and they go and they show up like Superman one, they just sort of show up. And I
Yeah.
think part of that is not because of individual collectors, but I think it's more or less, I think that it's consortiums that are buying and holding and then selling like stocks. And
I'm
they're
not sure
value.
about that. I just see so many like Hulk one. I don't see that often. Bat
Mhm,
one, I do see. Like,
mhm,
you can go right now and buy a Batman one if you have the
yeah.
money. You can literally go right now and buy a Batman one #1.
I I think they trade because they're like blue chip stocks that people buy and hold and then decide to sell. and sometimes they will sell favorably, and sometimes they will sell unfavorably, as the market moves up and down. The Superman 1 situation, that one just sold for 2.3 or 2.4 million. After it took, that other one took this terrible beating, lost $1 million. It came back with a vengeance and recouped almost all of its losses at like 2, 3 or whatever it was, Alan, in Heritage.
Yeah.
So those books are so expensive, and they represent such a blue chip in the hobby, that investors coming in can look at that and quantify that because of scarcity and also desirability. That if you're going to buy a big blue chip golden age book, those are the ones. So I think that they buy them and they sell them, and that's where you get people that will do that. That's my
Yeah.
feeling on that.
So I always felt like of the two books, like AF-15, Hulk 1, AF-15 is actually the poor cousin in a weird way. I think that Hulk 1 is a better book, and a lot of people would say, you're crazy for saying that. But the reason I say Hulk 1 is a better book is there's 5 times more AF-15s. There's just like so many AF-15s out there, and they're both major. They're both big characters. Obviously, Spider-Man is the bigger of the two characters, but I think,
But the thing about the Hulk went 6 issues, and Stan Lee used Kirby, and he used Ditko. He did everything he could to make the Hulk go, and they liked the Hulk character, and they did their best. They started him with a #1. They didn't
mhm,
have a tryout or anything else. They just went ahead and went. They didn't put him in Journey into Mystery or into any of those other ones. I mean, they may have had the prototype guys that they did, but they didn't put him into one of those titles as a prototype. They brought him in straight up as a #1. They were strong enough on him to bring him as a #1, and the sales just tanked on the book. People just did not go for it. And
mhm.
after issue #6, they basically canceled the title. But the Hulk character then started making appearances in the Marvel universe. The Hulk would show up in FF. He'd show up here and there,
Astonishing
wherever, and then he's
Tales,
into.
and
And
yeah,
then basically the popularity of the color of the character by the writing, and also just the whole idea of anger and what have you, and that whole story
mhm.
about it started to resonate. And then the Hulk came back with a vengeance.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, both characters obviously are like, ones that will be known 50 years from now. Um, so it's there's always that balance between scarcity and desirability of the character. If they start to do a better job with Hulk, I mean, he's been okay in the movies. I thought he was really good in Avengers. That era of the Hulk was probably the best when he beats up Loki. That's probably
I
one of the
liked him in Ragnarok too.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
those
loved him in
scenes.
the arena. I love that fight scene in the arena. It's my
Yeah,
friend. There's my
it's
friend.
yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, that was a great scene. And there's some really great iconic Hulk scenes, and that's one of them. And I even like the scene where they're sitting on the bed, and he's like saying, like, he's Thor's saying, I'm like fire, and then and Hulk saying, like, I am big fire, you are like little fire. I just thought it was really cool. I just like, um yeah.
That's when it was being fun, that it
Mhm.
wasn't quite such snarky, smart alecky answers that
I
Marvel
agree,
got
Bob.
into. I agree with you.
I'd love to
We
see.
we have
I'd like
yet
to,
to have a great solo Hulk movie.
and I'd like to see. I'd like to get a different actor play the Hulk. Actually,
Yes. They had
um,
Banna, and then they had Ed Norton, those two.
yeah,
Uh, and then now they have what's his nuts, uh,
um, Ruffalo,
Mark Ruffalo.
and
And
yeah, I
and
think he's not bad, but I actually kind of would like somebody a little different.
but the thing about the our when actors are activists, and they basically bleed their political beliefs into a character,
Hmm.
it'll turn off half of the people that are viewing if you're all up about a given side. And
Hmm.
I really wish they wouldn't do that, because it makes it that much harder to have it to suspend your disbelief to enjoy the movie, if you look at the guy and you know that he's a radical uh, 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 promoter of a given position that you may or may not agree with, it's just very unattractive.
Yeah, I mean, it should just be the character. Like, just be the character. Don't
Be
bring
the
anything else
character.
in. Yeah.
Don't, I want to be me. Well, be you, but just don't be you so loud.
They're not. Yeah, well, they're not paying you to be you. They're paying you to be the Hulk. Or
How
whatever.
and the perfect illustration was Ms. Marvel, or what,
Oh,
with
that
what's
was
the nuts
yeah. What's her name? She she really
coming out
was.
and basically just trashing the movie, and why do you want me to wear such revealing costumes? And you idiot, what do you think this is?
Yeah.
This isn't the Flying Nun. This
Mm.
this is the Marvel universe where you're a total Abraham Lincoln going off and fighting in space, and you're gonna would you want to wear a habit? I mean, what are you talking
You
about?
know, I really want them to bring back sexy into the female characters. Like,
Bring
so many.
female back into the female character.
Yeah, I mean, like, the good example of this is the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Like, if you look at Nebula in the early ones, she's pretty sexy, and but in the last one, she almost looks like a boy. If you didn't know that she's a female, you would be like, oh, is she a female? um it's it's kind of disappointing. I kind of want them to bring a bit of that sexiness back into some of the female characters.
I think that the blending of genders, which is what they man is a woman and woman is a man, and all of that stuff, we talked about it ad nauseum, but
Mm-hmm.
it really is unattractive. And you would think that the shareholders for Disney and whoever would appreciate them not being political and just make good entertainment, but they just can't get out of their own way and continue to do that. I'm very hopeful for James Gunn at DC to not be that way and give us some really wonderful DC movies, because the characters are worth it. They real Batman, Superman, and they're worth having it.
Yeah. um I agree with what Matt says, but I think they have to find other actresses then. Just find different ones that are a little bit
There's nothing wrong with
more.
being a sex symbol. I mean, it made the careers of a lot of people, and just because you portray it on the screen doesn't necessarily mean that that's who you really are.
And
I like
actually,
Wednesday, for example, Wednesday Adams. I think she's, I think
a
she,
sex
whatever
symbol, yeah.
character she have her be. What's the one that can disappear and is in the Go Teen Titans?
Are
What's
you
her name?
talking about what's her name?
Has the hood.
Yeah, what's her name?
Raven.
In Teen Titans.
Right. Isn't
Oh
she the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Raven?
That's Raven. Yeah, that's Raven.
I think that Wednesday Adams would be a fantastic Raven with the attitude and the dark and all that, and sexy, because she's wearing this little girl dress, but she's absolutely very foxy and and she isn't
Hmm.
trying to be girly overt. She just is. So let
Hmm.
it be. Let it happen. But
Let it
no,
happen
you can't
naturally.
do that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
mustn't do that. Don't do that.
yeah,
I don't get it.
yeah. I don't necessarily get it either. But I'm going to show some women being women. So I'm going to show. I kind of hinted at it earlier with the previous book that I showed, but I didn't. I want to show quickly
Oh
my.
yes.
So this is officially the first appearance of the Blonde Phantom in comics. All select
Okay. And the date on it?
number 11. So this is fall of 1946.
And the other one was what?
April of 1946. So yeah, so this one
So it's pretty
is
close then.
pretty close. This is from the Mum collection.
Oh yes.
Which
Very
was
famous.
very famous collection. And even Mum had it with the date stamp, 1946. So yeah, so this is her first appearance, but I guess she was a hit right off the bat because the very next issue, they changed the title to Blonde Phantom. This is number 12. Yeah, I think she's a great character. I mean, she kind of fits the trope of what female heroes at that time were. They were usually socialites, a little bit bored, had a little bit of martial arts skills, and would decide to fight crime. And she, she's a bit of she was an actress and, kind of a fun character. So she'd be like at the theater and watching her own movie, and then she'd be like, "Oh, there's a crime happening," and she'd throw on her little mask, and all of a sudden, people wouldn't be able to recognize her. Very similar to Clark Kent that way. So I actually have a little run. So I got 12, and this is number 13.
Boy, that's a different artist on that. Who did the art on that one?
So before it was Sid Shores, and then this one is actually this is also Sid Shores.
Totally. Don't you think they look different?
Different, yeah, a bit of a different style. If actually though, if you look at her up close, one sec here, her face. Okay, look at that style of her face.
Yes. Yeah.
And actually, it looks like him.
Okay,
Same style,
fair enough.
same style, same style. It's just the way it's much more dynamic cover than the other
And
ones.
that's still 1946?
This is 1947.
See, Sid Shores had gotten back from fighting with Patton with Al Avison and Jack Kirby, because all three of those guys, I don't know if Avison was in that same unit, but Sid Shores and Jack Kirby were in the same outfit. They were in the same unit, and they didn't even know.
Yeah, it could be. So it could be a different inker. That
I
can
agree with
happen.
you.
That could be a thing.
Very much.
And I guess Lost Canyon has that issued number 13 too. So yeah, this is number 14, and I have a really high grade copy of number 15.
Wow, that's nice.
But the sad thing is, it's my highest grade of the set, but it's the least cool cover. It's like the least, like some of the other ones I like better. I just happen to have this one high grade. I was trying to get the complete run. I think there's a few more issues afterwards, but
they're spendy. That's a spendy title. I mean, she's a spendy character.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people go after her just because it is a Marvel character. It's not one that people know as much nowadays, but I think she's cool. I kind of want them to almost go back and do some kind of retro like 40s style like superhero movie. Like I think that'd be really fun. And
this
even
Captain Carter, when Sharon Carter, when she was in the Captain America,
mm-hmm.
and then they had that series on TV. I liked that show. I liked it set in the 40s. I liked the style, the fashions, the attitude, and makeup and hair and the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was popular. And maybe she'll come back. But if I wish they would do that. I agree with you.
Yeah, the only thing is, a Dick Tracy reboot would be interesting. Yeah, but
I agree.
Yeah, actually, I never watched that Carter
with Madonna.
I never. Oh, I watched
with Beatty.
I hated the Dick Tracy movie. Sorry,
it was awful.
I fell asleep. I almost fell asleep during it. I was like so bored. I mean, I thought like it was like I saw it with my aunt. Okay, and this may be way that people see it differently. So I saw it with my aunt, and she's an artist. She's like she's really artsy kind of person. She loved it. She's like, oh, it's so visually beautiful. It's like, all the colors. Oh, look at the way that they use the colors here. I'm like, man, that's really boring. It's just so boring. It's like so bored.
If you've ever watched the B movies with Dick Tracy, where he meets Cue Ball, he meets Flathead, he meets Karloff, I guess, is in there, for Gruesome or whatever. And Ralph Bird, I think, is the name of the guy that plays Tracy. They have a lot of the elements of the show. They're B movies, though. They're not A movies. So,
okay, we got one more guest here. Hey, how's it going?
I just got home from work.
You sound tired, actually.
How you doing?
The last few times that I've seen you, you're like always like kind of a little bit faded.
The last time you saw me, I was falling asleep on that stream.
I was like poking you every so often just to keep you awake.
Right.
Yeah.
You're only up for 19 hours.
How you doing? What's that?
The acting
if you're only up like 19 hours straight trying to get that deal, getting your 24/7 squared away.
Yeah, for sure. And then I had Travis came over last night and we did some trading. So I got some new slabs from him. I can show those off if you want.
Oh yeah,
That'd be
sure,
great.
sure.
So is it your birthday? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's my
It
birthday.
is his.
So
Happy birthday, buddy.
you got me a whole bunch of slabs, is what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. No.
There's my Alan.
Yeah. Okay, I'll make you big.
I'm already big enough. You don't need to make me big. All right. So this one is a really cool cover. Alex Ross.
Nice.
Oh, okay. That's
Batman
like an homage to
130.
the original one.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a Neil Adamsy homage. It was a San Diego Comic Con exclusive. Alex Ross, and it's a 9.8. So I thought that was really neat.
That's really nice. It's a. I imagine that would be a hard 9.8. It looks like a lot of black.
Yeah,
on
it's
that
solid black all the way around the edges. So, yeah. And then I wasn't actually going to get this one, and then he told me the print run on it, and I was
one.
like,
Convinced you.
okay. It was limited to 75 copies.
Oh yeah, so that's
It's
something they're killing the children one.
Yeah, it's a 9.8, something that's killing the children foil. Bryce Comics exclusive. Limited to 75 copies.
And what issue number is that? Is that number 1?
No, it's number 21. But I
Okay.
thought it was a cool cover, and it wasn't super expensive, and there's only 75 of them in the world. So
Yeah.
I was like,
I always wonder about that. Like, I mean, there's like a thing where they almost like it's like created scarcity where you have like
right,
certain where they will, I've seen ones where that might be a little different with the 75, but where they'll do like a whole bunch of slightly different covers, like slightly
right,
different, and then they'll say, oh,
yeah.
there's only 25 of them. But then the one with a slightly different thing, there's only 25 of that, and it just adds up. It's not that rare after
So
all the different
this is an
variants.
Allen special right here. This is and a Steppo special.
Oh wow, that's really nice. What's that
Yeah,
one?
so it's a Starfire. It's
I
a
was gonna say
Titans.
Starfire, yeah.
Yeah, it's Titans #1 foil exclusive virgin cover by Nathan Zerdy.
Oh wow, that's really nice.
And
The
it's
only
a
problem
9.8.
with foils is it's hard to show them. Like
Yeah,
on
I mean,
on
well, you
camera.
know, I mean,
Yeah, it's very it's foily. It's
luckily,
very awesome actually. I like the way it shines actually when you
yeah, it's a really cool cover. So I mean, Travis gets a lot of these cool modern variants, and he's always like, so he was trading me. For a while there, I was building a run of GI Joe, and so I'm still working on it. But he was getting a lot of the later issues, which the stuff that I really enjoyed out of that run was the earlier stuff. So he was pulling a lot of stuff for me that was late in the run that's super rare, low print run. So yeah. So anyway, he walked away with a big pile of GI Joe, and I got a bunch of slabs. But the Moon Knight
Oh, that's a cool one too.
exclusive. And the cool thing about this one is the COA that it comes with is actually a trading card of that cover that you could get graded.
And
So
is
it's a
that
trading
inside the
card.
slab?
I taped it to the inside of this.
Oh,
It's in
okay.
a sleeve. I taped it to the inside of the bag so that it wouldn't get
Okay.
damaged.
I was thinking, wow, they put it in for it. Like I know CGC always removes the poly bags and removes any curves or
Yeah.
anything.
So it has that really cool
That's really nice.
Crescent Club cover as a trading card, and it's a 9.8 custom label.
I like the
The
custom
Moon Knight
label
logo.
too.
That's a nice cover.
Yeah, it is a really cool cover. It's a Virgin Trinity Comics Virgin exclusive. So
I like that a lot. I've never seen that one before.
and then this one I got from him. This is Spider-Man #4 Daniel Virgin Edition. So I guess that's Tony Daniel, but it's Spider-Gwen and Miles.
Interesting. And they're doing a little kiss thing.
Yeah. And it's a 9.8. And right, it's in the bag. It's kind of hard to see.
That's quite cool.
Cool book. Yeah, it's got the.
And so, like, what kind of deal was he giving you on these? Like, was it trade?
Like not like this one was like, I think this one was like $40.
Oh, I always like when it's that kind of price where it's like
Um,
almost the cost of the slab. You know what I mean?
The Moon Knight was like $40, I think.
Oh, that's a really great deal.
The foil Starfire was maybe like 40 or $50.
Still,
I think the jury's out on foils because you can't hardly even see the cover to get the cover image. You have to turn it just right, and you cannot photograph them at all.
But Something Is Killing the Children was like $100, I think, and but I was limited to 75 copies, so I thought that was pretty worth it. And then the Batman was like $75, the Alex Ross Batman.
Okay.
And then I've started to kind of collect Frank Cho covers.
I like Frank Cho a lot.
And so he brought this over for me to look at. And it is the red variant of Punchline #1 with a Frank Cho cover.
Oh, interesting.
So it's got like super detail on if you can see the horses and everything.
Yeah. It looks like the horses of the
super duper
apocalypse almost.
detailed. Yeah, you got the Grim Reaper back there and everything on the horse.
Yeah.
I think those are the 4 riders or whatever of the apocalypse.
That's what I was saying.
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Yeah,
is
super
that what it is?
duper detailed.
That's what I thought it was. That's what it looked
like. You got the angels up there blowing the horns and everything, the trumpets. So yeah, it is the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Wow.
And so I thought that was a cool cover, and it's by you got Joe's signature down there, and then I like the little Joker in the ribbon down there.
Get the point.
Get the point. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
that's really cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. And I think this one was maybe like $30, $35, something like that in trade.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I'm a sucker for slabs. I love like inexpensive slabs that are cool like that. So.
And then I got to show this one again because you guys in the chat, you got to tell me, does this look like a horror cover?
it looks like something like Bloody Valentine's Day or something.
I don't think so.
It looks like she's dressed up in the trench coat with like a knife behind her back or something.
Like, doesn't it look like? Because I know it's supposed to be like Valentine's Day is like being like hearts being like from like ribbons or something like that. But it almost looks like blood pouring down the wall.
It's what it looks like to me too. Like I was like, oh my gosh, it's a horror cover. This is part of the deal that of books that we got with Ryan's stuff for Automatic Comics.
How many did he let you pick out? You said 20?
How many what? Oh, we got to pull 20 books off of the spinner rack that was there in addition to our purchase. So
and you got 10 each, or is it 20 each?
No, it's just 20 for the for the collection that we're going to be selling. So
okay. So what were the other ones that you picked?
Oh, I can show. So we had The Calling All Girls. This is actually from February of 1946.
That's a really good one. I think that was a nice pickup.
Yeah. And then we got Modeling with Millie #24. I can't believe I'm no longer a model. She got fired.
Oh no.
Modeling with Millie #24 from 1963. And I don't remember grabbing this one, but somehow we ended up with a Jughead issue. So there's a Jughead in there.
So you got a Jughead.
Then we got Millie the Model, the Blonde Bombshell. Millie the Model.
Okay. So fun with good girl stuff.
Yeah. I told him, I said, there's a kind of a pile of good girl stuff. You want me to grab it? And he's like, yeah, for sure. So here's a Miss America Patsy Walker #68.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's got some chipping right there by her head. But, It was a freebie thrown in. It's got a nice little date stamp up there. I guess that's from, I don't know what year, 1950 something.
Yeah, it should be late 50s.
Yeah. And then this one is in a Mylar. I mean, all this stuff was on a spinner rack, believe it or not. This one's in a Mylar. It's a Joe Palooka Comics number 11. Looks really old. 1947, but he had it on the spinner rack. So
it looks like it's in really high grade.
Yeah, it's really nice. I was like, I guess we're grabbing this one. He's like, I told him what it was. He's like, yeah, grab it. So, so Joe Palooka. And then he's like, do they have any Turok? And I was like, on the spinner rack. And I was like, because, Alan says that all that he should get is Turok. So
Turok is the best, right? We all know that.
So, so we got a Turok number 19.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah, with the painted cover.
Yep. Yeah.
And a Turok, I don't know what issue number this one is, but another painted cover, older one, 10-cent issue.
I mean, the covers were pretty amazing for those Turoks.
Yeah. So there's that one. And then this one was when I was like, okay, I'm making a judgment call. I'm grabbing this one. I just thought that the cover, the artwork was so cool on it, and the coloring. I don't know if it comes across well enough, but
a little art, a Life with Archie, yeah.
Yeah, where they're under the ocean, scuba diving.
I mean, Life with Archie had some pretty crazy stuff going on in it.
Yeah, I just thought that I mean, that's just the flow of it, and the artwork reminded me for some reason of like that dolphin cover or something.
It does. That's what it reminds me of too. Just the green,
the coloring, and everything. So just a cool one, 12 center. And then this one, I was like, the coloring. I told him, I'm like, there's a book here. It's got rusty staples, but it's old as heck, and the coloring is just amazing. I told him what it was, and he looked it up. He's like, oh, get that one. That's painted by. You guys will probably be able to tell me just by seeing the artwork. But Steppo, do you know who the artist is on that?
Anytime there's a painted cover, I always think that it's Saunders, but I'm generally wrong.
Yeah, I don't think it was Saunders. It's some other guy. He was telling me the name of the guy. That it's a famous painter. He uses those really rich colors all the time. So again, apparently this is kind of like a superhero kid who's able to turn into an adult cowboy with the kid head on him. But yeah, it's pretty rough. It's got rusty staples, and it's pretty rough. But I like the colors on it. And then he's like, well, if you see any like older DC, characters that we can, so there was a Metal Man. It's pretty rough also, but he told me just to grab that.
It's not Alan Anderson, is it?
I want to say like Ziff Davis or something like that.
No, Ziff Davis is the company.
Okay. What's the name of the painter then? I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I was just guessing. Okay.
And then there was Looney Tunes number 94, Merry Melodies. You told me to grab that one. And Alan will like this one. It's actually in pretty good shape too. Adventures in 3D number 1. Okay,
so do you know the significance of that book?
Tell me, Alan, lay it on me.
The Black Panthers, when they came up with their logo for the Black Panther, they literally traced that animal.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
And if you look at the first appearance of the Black Panther logo, like it's a trace of that, where they just made it black instead of spotted.
Interesting. Well, there you go. It's a really nice looking copy of that anyway. So yeah, one we grabbed off the rack. And then this one was really interesting. He looked it up and it said it had Rosetta artwork in it.
Oh, interesting.
Cute book though. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Happy Comics. What issue number is that?
Happy Comics number 26 from 1948. And it says it has Rosetta art inside.
That's very odd.
Yeah. I mean, can you just imagine? You saw it on the video, but can you imagine this kind of stuff on a spinner rack?
I don't know why you'd put it on a spinner rack, but each to their own.
And then we got a mystery in space number 106. Just a goofy mystery in space cover.
Is that Metamorpho or who is that?
Ultra.
Oh, is that
Ultra? The Outlaw
That's
Ultra. I don't know.
Oh,
We
that's
were
Ultra. Okay.
at the end when we were grabbing the
Metamorpho looks basically similar, so that's why.
Yeah, when we were grabbing the 20 books, we were so burnt. Like it was 3+ hours of negotiating. I'd been standing on my feet. There was nowhere, there's nowhere to sit or anything. So I'm just in this kind of cramped quarters. But yeah, so we were just kind of like, he was like kind of like grab whatever. So Millie the model number 116. Millie meets Prince Charming.
Oh, that's nice. It's always good to meet.
It's actually in pretty good shape on that one.
Getting those in high grade is actually a big deal.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty beat up.
And then Patsy and Her Pals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Patsy Walker. And then a Challenges of the Unknown issue.
I like that one. I like the cover on that one. I like
Yeah.
this.
He's like, he was looking at it. He's like, what issue is it? And I told him, he's like, oh, it's got a giant woman on it. Get it. I was like,
that's you got me when you said giant woman. So yeah.
Right. And then I was surprised to see he actually had a Marvel book on the rack. So he had it. It's really beat up, but Hulk 109. I love the artwork on this cover.
Okay.
So yeah, Hulk 109.
That's very cool.
And this one has a chunk out of the spine, but I was telling him what it looked like. I'm like, it's Betty and Veronica and they're mermaids. He's like, grab it. I'm like, well, it has a chunk out. It's like, grab it.
Yeah, no, that's anytime they're mermaids, it will sell for a bit of money.
Yeah, so it has a piece out of the spine right here, but yeah. Still.
Wait, we might have another guest. Oh wait, a private chat. Oh, Papa's leaving. Okay,
Papa
bye,
said he was going to bounce.
Yeah, bye,
All
Papa.
right. See you later, Papa. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for coming, Papa.
Thanks, Papa.
Didn't get to hang with you longer, buddy. But yeah, so those are the books I picked up for Ryan. And if you guys want to watch the video about the whole, did you talk at all on your channel about the Golden Age collection?
No, I didn't actually. So I mean,
do you want to talk about it?
Okay, well, yeah, sure, we can kind of mention it. So on Big B's channel,
yes.
It's 6 videos.
Actually, right? It started out on your channel. I showed a picture of this book.
Oh yes, that's right.
And I said, this guy has a whole bunch of other books, and I wish I had more money.
And I told you to go and get a video of the whole thing.
Right.
And then you did
that. And actually, I had done that prior to. And actually, you want to hear a sad story?
Okay.
So last night, Travis was over here trading with me, and we took this book, and I said, hey, let's put it under some real bright light, and you take a look at it, and you tell me what grade. What grade you think it is. And so we took it out of the bag, and there's a real tiny crease that's not color breaking right here. And he kind of goes, he pulls it out of the bag, and he's looking at it, and I go, yeah, well, there's that crease. He goes, well, there's the crease here that's not color breaking. And he goes, like, he just runs his finger over it, and he goes, it took like little tick, tick, like the color just kind of flaked off when you ran his finger over it.
Why would he touch the book? Why would he touch it?
So I mean, he's like, well, I don't know if it's color breaking still, but now it kind of looks like it is. And I'm like, he's looking at it. He goes, yeah, I think and I'm like, it is what it is. If they would have cleaned and pressed it, it would have done it to it anyway. If they had,
it would have happened through cleaning and pressing it too, actually.
Yeah. So I'm like, I can't be mad about it. I mean, we would have got it cleaned and pressed anyway. But we'll see what it comes out. It's still super, super nice. And I'm still thinking it'll probably break a 9 at least. So, but
if it's
yeah,
a big crease,
don't be mad at him, Stefo.
I'm not mad. I'm just sorry. I'm sorry for you because I think
Well,
you
even
deserve
if we would have sent it in to get cleaned and pressed anyway. And when
Yeah.
they started cleaning on it, it would have, if
it
the color was
would have
that
rubbed off. Yeah.
fragile, it would have taken it off anyway. So
That's true.
Yeah.
yeah, so
Oh well.
it is what it is. But anyway, so I showed that book on your channel, and I said, if I I wish I had more money. I don't have the money to pick up these books. He has all these great books. And then Ryan had watched the video
and then reached out to you.
And he reached out to me and he said, "Is that guy looking to sell the entire collection?" And I said, "Well, he's in his late 70s, and he was kind of bemoaning the fact that he's only got maybe 15 to 20 years left on the planet, and he doesn't want to leave a huge burden to his family, and he'd like to have some money to play with." And I said, I could definitely go over and try to negotiate a deal with him.
Okay.
And he said, "Well, here's the deal I'm offering." He said, "I will front the money for the collection. You negotiate the deal, and you do all the legwork, and you also handle the shipping of, packaging and shipping. Ryan will pay for the shipping. All the money side of things is coming from Ryan. All of the
labor side,
legwork,
sweat equity,
responsibility of gathering the books up and getting them to Ryan is on my side." He said, and then once they get to him, he will go through, catalog them all. We have a video which also catalogs them all. So, we'll both know there's no, trickery going on or anything. And then he will do the grading, handle the grading and selling of them. And then we'll split any profits after we've recouped the money to purchase the collection and to pay for the shipping and everything. So there's a great video on Ryan's channel, Automatic Comics, if you want to see us talking about that. And there's also videos of all of the Golden Age books on my channel, broken up into like little 8-minute chunks. So
yeah, and they're interesting. I mean, it's cool to see you flip through such an impressive collection. I mean, it is an impressive collection because you get to see pretty much all the different genres. You got westerns, you got good girl, you got pre-code horror, you got superhero. Pretty much all the major stuff there. It's quite nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm super excited to see how that all goes. And Ryan and I are going to have content going back and forth where he's going to do, an updated spreadsheet, and we're going to keep track of the sales, kind of like he did, where he said, starting a business by buying a small comic collection. He's going to kind of do that kind of deal where he kept track of all of the sales and what each book went for and where we're at profit wise and everything. And it's going to be real cool.
So was there any books that you were allowed to keep, or do you have to send everything off to him?
I'm sending everything off to him. There's nothing that was like super important to me to be in my collection. I mean, the only things that would probably have been of interest to me probably would have been the Atlas/Timely stuff that would be like kind of related to the MCU, which would be maybe the monster, the first appearances of the monsters and stuff. But it's not really a big important thing to me. I'd rather use that. And so you guys know Ryan deals in a lot of big books and stuff and everything. So I said, in lieu of maybe even paying me money, I might just take books in exchange for my part of it because, I'm trying to build a collection of a lot of grails. And he's like, "Oh, that would be cool." So
yeah, you
never know. Maybe I'll be able to.
He probably has a few books that he could pass off to you. That would be
yeah. I mean, he told me he has an Amazing Fantasy and a 0.5, Amazing Fantasy 15.
That'd be nice one, right? Yeah.
I don't know if we'll make that kind of. I don't know if we'll make that kind of a profit. And he told me he really likes that book.
Kind of level of profit, that'd be a nice little. That'd be a nice little memento of the whole thing. I think that.
Yeah, for sure. So, but I'm just excited to see how it goes. And nothing ventured, nothing gained. And Ryan seems to be a real stand-up guy, and I'm excited to see.
No, he's a good guy.
He's a good man.
Yeah. I have a lot of faith that this will go well.
I mean, I gotta say, like he and I both kept saying, there's a lot of trust we're placing in each other, both sides of it,
Yeah, I mean, you could say thank you for the money. I'm going to keep the books. And he's like, oh, what is he going to
Right.
do? Yeah. So,
Right.
that could be
So,
really fun.
but yeah, so cool. So did you do anything fun for your birthday, or
This is what I'm doing for fun for my birthday. I
this
had
is?
a rough day, actually. I had a really long day.
I'm sorry, buddy.
I was working quite hard today. I was in meetings from 9 in the morning till just up to the stream.
I had
So,
to go to a big safety meeting thing, which was being held in like a big. Well, Stephen would know, a McMinimans. It was being held in a McMinimans, which is like they convert these old antique historic buildings into these giant pubs, theater things, and so it was an old school, and so we had all these.
Kennedy
It
School.
was the Kennedy School. Yeah, we were at
Yeah.
the Kennedy School, and we had several of the rooms reserved for us, and the theater was reserved for us as well to do their presentation and everything. So it was a company wide thing. So it was kind of neat.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I had a interesting day. But actually, it's funny. I was working till 3:30 in the morning as well last night.
I'll do Steppo, and I need to sing happy birthday to you.
No, you don't have to do that. That's okay.
Please don't. You said.
Yeah, please don't. My ears are sore. No,
How young are you?
I'm 51 now.
Oh my goodness,
So the
ancient.
way I was thinking about this actually this is actually more of a critical year. Like I was trying to each birthday should have some significance, right? So everyone thinks, oh, 50th is your big birthday, but actually your 50th birthday is really is just the last year of your 40s, believe it or not. Because if you think about it, like when you're born, you go, your first decade is 1 through 10, right? And your
Right.
next decade would be 11 to 20, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so really,
So that was the
I'm
last one
just
of the 40s. So this is your first of your 50s.
my first of my 50s is my point. So this is like that, 1/6 of my life kind of level. I'm gonna live
That's
200 years.
your 51st birthday.
I know. So it's my 51st birthday. It's a significant one. I'm trying to give it significance. I figure, hey, I'll have to come up with something unique next year. So why it's significant at 52? But
New 52.
New 52. I am a DC comic in the future. So yeah. So and then
Did you see my drawing I did last night?
the Spider-Man one.
Yeah. So last night,
Yeah, that's cool.
Travis and I, after we did trading, we hung out and did artwork together. So it was fun.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could draw better.
Did you understand that? Did you understand the way it was laid out? Like,
yeah.
So it was like it was her
Yeah.
hand. She's looking at the window. It's her reflection of her face in the window, and then
Oh,
Spider-Man's outside. I don't know if you.
Oh, I didn't actually catch that. Okay, I thought it was like sort of her holding Spider-Man kind of thing, or with her hand.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll have to put like a window frame or window pane around the edges or something. Make it or window frame.
make it look more like obvious.
Yeah.
I got some. I pulled some modern good girl because Brian was showing some, so I pulled some out of a box. If you want me to show them,
I would love to see some modern good girl from you, sir.
You can do a couple of modern good girl, and then I'm actually going to close the stream soon because
okay, that's I just wanted to get in a few, and then whatever you want to do, Alan.
Yeah, I'll let you show some stuff.
One of the newer artists that I have found that I've kind of gotten into is Nathan Zerdy.
Oh, that's the one I really liked. Actually, you showed me that on Instagram.
Dirty's dirty.
Signed copy.
Nice.
I bought this as a raw copy, and then I decided I'd go out and buy one in a 9/8, and it's got the DC Universe logo or in the box in the corner.
Yep.
Imagine that's quite rare.
I have a copy of that too. I think not a 9/8. Yeah, and I have the DC logo version of it also. But but back then, Hughes was doing the artwork on the inside of that as well.
That's very cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So
this just happened to be in the box with the girls, and it's Betty Page.
Oh, that's really cute.
That's really
cool. Rated.
Steppo, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be like that. Saying I have a copy of that too.
No, that's my
I'm
job.
not trying to be that
That's
guy.
my job.
Generally,
that's my job.
Generally, I leave that to Alan.
Yeah,
Right? No, I
Because he
apologize.
almost invariably has what I have. I know that.
Right.
Because he has
Well, this is one of the
outstanding
rare
taste.
occasions.
That's what he has.
This is one of the rare
Outstanding
occasions where I have something that you have.
And here's one that Alan had or was talking about, and I had a FOMO event, and I had to go out and get it. My horoscope predicted I'd be in the pink today. That's pretty blatant. It's not tossing a salad, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
So what that had a different meaning back in the day, though. What did it mean?
In the pink means that having a fun time.
Yeah.
In the pink means is this, I'm really happy, having a wonderful time.
Gotcha.
And of course, if you're doing the other one, you're also having a good time too.
Well, yeah, I guess it works both ways, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's a double entendre. Here is another Nathan Zerdy, and this is DC versus Vampires number 10.
Nice. I like that.
Think it's beautiful. I mean,
I love the flow of it.
Really is a very foxy cover.
Yeah, you can almost feel the wind.
Machine or something. It's like
you can feel the wind coming off of that.
The wind beneath her sails.
So is she a vampire on that cover?
Yes, because her eyes are red and she's been slashed and hacked through her super suit, and her eyes are now red. So I think that she's been vampirized.
So there's a really cool there's an Action Comics annual #1 from the 80s that is drawn by Arthur Adams, and it is right after, I want to say, Legends, when John Byrne was having something to do with relaunching the DC universe, and it was when they were making Batman and Superman weren't really friends, and it deals with them, the two of them, coming across this young lady in the swamp, and she's saying, "My parents were murdered. You need to help me." And they come, and there's these mummified corpses in this place. They've been dead for hundreds of years, and the girl is a vampire. And they're fighting the vampire. She almost gets Superman, and then Batman kills her, and Superman's like, "Thanks, I didn't think you cared that much." And Batman's like, "I don't care about you. I just didn't relish the idea of a super vampire."
Cool.
Thanks, Batman.
But I think it's kind of one of the earliest things I can think of, like the DC versus vampires thing. It's back in the 80s. So.
Oh wow.
Here's another Nathan Zerdy.
Beautiful.
Some black cat.
I like Spidey's head just kind of poking down the corner.
Out of nowhere.
This one is different because of that. Because some of them don't have his head, but this is one of the ones where he's appearing. Fabulously rare.
Very cool. The ultra rare Steven version.
There you go.
That's a great one.
Wow. And
it collects the Valkyrie stories.
So by the way,
reprinted.
How much did you pay for that one? I got it as a raw. That's why I'm asking.
For the 9/8 white pager, I think it was 100 something.
Okay, not bad.
125, something like that.
That's
what?
I said nice.
Oh, thank you. And this one, the other one that I really like is Will Jack. I think his covers are absolutely lovely.
I think his name is
Jock.
Appropriate.
Jock, yeah. Isn't it Jock?
Will Jack?
I've heard Will Jack. That's I've heard how it's pronounced. But
is it Will Jack?
I think his name is
Jock.
I think with his artwork on the covers that he does, his name is appropriate.
Okay, Will Jack.
Little teenage boys.
And this is an older one, but it's a nice Adam Hughes.
Oh yeah, that's.
Really, I love the way Hughes draws Power Girl.
He didn't back off on her. He drew her in her whole glory.
And this one was a variant for Power
You
Girl,
drew her
and it was
busting out.
the last issue, and it's a Warren Lowe cover, and I just love this. It was on I had this as my cell phone picture for the longest time, my home screen.
That's beautiful
I just
as
think
well.
that her eyes and her face, I mean, of course, her chest, but this is sort of like the Weird
All
Tales.
about the eyes and the face.
Well, yeah. To me, it draws. I guess I'm old, but I mean, my eye goes to her face. My eye just tend to go. But I like the proportions. And he did another one here a while ago that's similar to this one, and I think I've got it somewhere. But I thought that it was such a departure for all of the rest of the books in the run. This particular one, and it was the last issue, and it was a variant.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, Alan, I don't want to get your too late. So I will be all I got.
Okay, well that's good.
Right.
I feel guilty to my parents. They called like about 20 times during the stream.
Well, phone them back.
That's what I'm going to do. That's why I was.
Okay. Happy birthday, Alan! Very, very many happy returns of the day.
Yeah.
May you be in the pink.
So yeah, I really do appreciate it. This is how I wanted to spend my birthday. So I really appreciate you guys coming.
I'm glad I was able to hop on. I didn't know if I was going to make it.
Yeah, I was worried. I was like, oh, I was just trying to like keep the show going, and like we didn't really have much going, and it was like we're just waiting for you, Biggie. We're Big B. I was like,
you were just waiting. You're like, maybe he'll come by. Santa Claus will come.
I had to get Steven to show, like he had a Batman book that wasn't really great, and I was like, oh, do you have to show that one? It's not really good. And then
the reason I showed
book,
like, I don't want to overshow that. I really don't.
Right. Papa, you don't want to wear off the.
Well, no. Papa asked to see it.
Yes.
And I cut the man slack. I said, I'll be happy to show it to you.
And he showed
there you go.
Amazing Fantasy. Who even knows what that title is? It was like some silly book, and
so common.
That's some bug guy on it or something?
Some bug.
It's like a bug
is
guy.
Is it an insect or is it like an arachnid? I don't know. Okay, so but yeah, so it was good, but yeah, thanks guys for hanging out. We'll have to do this again on one of your birthdays and go on to and
mine's in May, so.
Okay, so we'll book a date.
Well, they just told me today that we're going to be in May. We're going to be working for 2 weeks. We're going to be working 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week.
Where at?
Oh wow!
For 2 weeks in Kelso, so
oh wow,
not too far. It's not a real far drive, but we're building some grain silos.
Oh my God, that's an awful lot of cement.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and you got to pour it. You got to pour it continuously. They've got a ring, and you fill it, and it hardens enough, and they raise the ring, and then you fill it, and it hardens enough, and they raise the ring.
Oh, that's a process. That's got to be expensive to do that. The engineering, and of course, if they do it wrong, do you know how heavy grain is? Hi, Rob. I'll see you in March.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Thanks, Alan.
Really cool. I mean, that's really cool, though. Okay, so yeah, thanks guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye now.